So, Mr. Trent, what advice would you give to somebody in an abusive relationship?
Get out as fast as you can. It's not healthy, and it's not something that I believe in.
Okay. And what's your opinion on dating violence?
I think dating violence is wrong, whether it's girl on boy or boy on girl, because I think we have a problem with both, especially at the high school level.
All right. And based on that, do you think it happens more often in a high school or an adult relationship?
I think that many of the things that happen in adult relationships are based on things that have happened in high school, or part of something that they've culturally grown up with. Boys grew up believing that it was okay to hit girls, and they became men who still thought it was okay to hit girls, just like girls who think it's okay to hit boys and grow up thinking it's okay to hit men.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
This is Ms. Smith, and we're going to ask her questions for our project. Okay, Ms. Smith, what advice would you give to somebody in an abusive relationship?
My advice would be to, first and foremost, remove themselves from the relationship as quickly as possible. A lot of times, students or adults who are in abusive relationships are in them because they are dependent on the other person, or feel like they are obligated to stay in that relationship for one reason or the other, whether it be for if they have a child with that person, if that person is supporting them financially. And so the main thing would be to let them know that they can leave this relationship and be successful or be okay or get help from somebody else once they've left the relationship.
And what's your opinion on dating violence?
My opinion is it happens probably way more than people suspect, including in high school. And people normally think of dating violence as being a physical thing only, but it's not just physical, it's also mentally too. A lot of times, couples in high school go through teen dating violence just by the other person being controlling, manipulative, aggressive. They may never even say physically hurt that person, but they're being emotionally abusive by what they say and how they try to control, the relationship. And a lot of times people don't think about that. If they don't see any marks or bruises, then everything's going okay. But what teenagers have to realize is that no one has control over you, and no one has the right to talk to you any kind of way, make you feel bad, put you down, make you feel less than you are. All those things contribute to violence and dating.
And in your opinion, do you think it happens more often in high school relationships or in adult relationships?
Adults who are physically or emotionally abusive to their spouse or girlfriends or boyfriends, they were teenagers who were probably abusive, controlling, or, manipulative in their relationships in high school. So teenagers grow up to be adults who are abusive. So I think that it happens probably just as much in high school as it does in adult relationships, because they were teenagers at one time, and they started there. And they were allowed to do it, and they continue to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
You.
45% of the students we asked around our school said that they have been in an abusive relationship. That's a lot considering we only asked 20 students. Some young men believe that they may lose respect if they're attentive or supportive of their girlfriends. Young women believe that there's no help and that they can't ask somebody. And if they go to an official or your principal, let's say, that they may just get laughed at or not get anything. They may also think that abuse is normal because their friends could be going through it. I've heard that some girls think that jealousy, possessiveness, and controlling is romantic, and that they're responsible for solving their own problems. Now, with a sense of abuse, girls are more likely to yell and threaten to hurt themselves, and to slap, pinch, and kick, where guys are more forceful and will leave more bruises and push you in an argument.
Abuse can come in many forms: verbal, physical, sexual, or emotional. Many abusive relationships have more than one type of abuse, and none of them should really be tolerated. Now, types of abuse: one is physical abuse. It occurs when someone physically hurts you, such as by hitting, throwing something at you, even if someone only hits you once or doesn't hurt you that badly. It is a big deal if they do hit you, even if it's not that bad. Now, abuse tends to escalate, putting you at greater risk in the future. Just one incident of being physically hurt by your partner is unacceptable, and you should take steps to stop the abuse, you know? Because if you don't, then they'll just keep happening. The other form is sexual abuse, and that's when someone forces you into an unwanted sexual activity, especially through threats or, you know, well, yeah, threats. But if they grab you and you say no, then that's basically, well, rape, but it's also considered sexual abuse. Now, emotional and verbal abuse are somewhat more difficult to define, so I'm going to try my best. These types of abuse often involve angry outbursts, withholding or emotional responses, manipulative, like screaming, yelling, and humiliation, with the abuser making fun of or ridiculating the target, which is probably, I don't know, the person being abused, hence the word target. Emotional abuse often includes verbal abuse. It also involves the abuser taking complete control over the life of the person she or he is abusing, often by making threats or otherwise manipulating the other person. Those who are being emotionally or verbally abused are often made to feel that their perception of reality is incorrect and that their feelings are wrong and unimportant. So try to stay away from these, and well, you can always notice it by watching your friends. If you want to know if your friend is okay, like your friend, he or she has stopped your relationship with you as a friend and changed it drastically, then you might want to find out what's wrong. Now, to find out if he's in an abusive relationship, like he just got in a relation with this guy or girl, he or she, I mean, and they have bruises on their arms, or they're really failing their classes and, you know, just staying away from others, then you should really refer them to a counselor, a teacher, or just any adult figure that you think might help, and try to help them yourself. Well, not everybody notices dating violence, so it's time to speak up, I guess.
Okay, T. What advice would you give to somebody in an abusive relationship?
If he keeps hitting you or she keeps hitting you, you need to leave the relationship.
Okay, and what's your opinion on dating violence?
Disrespectful.
Okay. Do you think it happens more often in a high school or in an adult relationship?
High school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody in an abusive relationship?
To think more about yourself, because at a younger age, relationships don't mean as much or as an opinion rather than to your future support.
Okay, and what's your opinion on dating violence?
Dating violence is obviously wrong. You can't control other people like it's an ownership. You should not do dating violence.
Okay, do you think it happens more often in a high school or in an adult relationship?
It obviously happens in your younger stages because you're not as mature as an adult stage. But yet that still depends on the person who goes through their lives and what they go through. So it really depends on your maturity and how well you go through relationships.
Okay, well, thank you.
Well, to sum it all up, should you do dating violence? Should you abuse the person you're in a relationship with? The answer to that is I'm just kidding. No, don't do it. But hey, hope you guys learned something from this video, and guess, enjoy the other videos and vote well. Bye.
Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love.